No, it's too late now. I saw you. I saw you peeking your head through the door. You might as well come through the door of my channel and come take a seat. Relax. You, like me, have probably been imagining what it's gonna be like to finally get your hands on all these new features. Which one you been thinking about? That catch meter? QB sneak meter? All those defensive adjustments to shut down all these spamming hacks on offense who love to spam those drag routes? I've been thinking about that too. But you know what I've been thinking about more? I've been thinking about all the features that were not announced. All the things that I think will push this game from very good into a classic type of game if EA could ever implement these. To me, EA has been the worst of the worst when it comes to sports games, going way back to N64 days. Some of y'all weren't even out your mother's womb yet. NFL Fever I thought was better. Of course, 2K was better. Don't forget, 2K also used to have a college football game that was better than NCAA EA Sports video games. Previously, I never had hope for EA Sports. And I'm gonna be real, I think it's gonna have to come from the team working on the college football games. I don't think I have any faith in the Madden team at all. And I never have, really. I've never forgiven them for what they did to 2K. You mother... I'll never forgive y'all for that. But if y'all saw the reveal, boy, the Madden team looked depressed. They looked exhausted. I've seen more enthusiasm in the presentation out of hostage videos than I saw from how those guys were on stage presenting their game that they're supposed to be proud of working on. So I have little faith that this is gonna come from the Madden team. This is gonna have to come from the college football team. But will they rise to the occasion, or will they also be held down by the suits and the corporate greed of EA Sports? No doubt about it, this game that we're getting is way better than what we got in College Football 25 and 26. A lot more features, even if they don't work properly to begin with. Let's be honest, it's EA, half of them are probably gonna be broken. But EA, here are 3 features that I think will help you finish the job of becoming a classic sports video game. And they all revolve around one thing: immersion. Now EA, especially with College Football 27, has added a lot for us to do in between our time between the menu screens and on the field. In Dynasty, recruiting has been revamped. NIL has been added. Okay, that's pretty immersive. On the field, there's gameplay that's been evolved, some gameplay features that have been added that make gameplay more realistic and immersive. But what about that time that we spend between the menus in our Dynasty, let's say, and the actual time that we are on the field playing the game? Let's go over some things that help fill that gap from that time from when we're in the menu screens to that time to where we're actually playing on the field. Let's fill the gap with some meaningful things that will help this game to actually come alive. Here's one huge way to make immersion come alive that's not presentation. We're gonna get to presentation at the end. The first thing I wanna talk about is pregame. Pre-game warm-ups could be something that, if they implement it correctly, could give us that immersion and also make it compatible with gameplay risk-reward factors. How do we do that? Imagine the pre-game warm-up for a second, right? You get to walk out with your player. Even if it's like a little cutscene, you can walk out with your player, and let's say if you're at a home game, you got some fans waiting on you, possibly in the tunnel, and you can maybe press a button to sign an autograph or something. They already have this foundation implemented when you're choosing a college, and you get to choose the hats, and you get to fake like you're choosing a hat, or you actually choose a hat and put it on. You could do the same thing with these little tunnel walks. It could be small little interactions where you could possibly press a button that signs an autograph, or if you're playing an away game, you can kind of mess with the away crowd, just like you can on the signing day where you can fake a hat. Maybe you could fake like you're giving an autograph and keep walking by. Maybe that away crowd will boo because you don't want to sign autograph for the away team. What are you, a traitor? Huh? For customization with this, before you even get out onto the field, you could go into your edit player, right? And maybe there's a tab at the top that says warm-up gear, and you can switch to that tab. I would love for this to start off very expansive, but you can start off with some basic options like tank top, long compression sleeves. Of course, you can add armbands and shooter sleeves and leg sleeves and all that. But as far as the tops and bottom, you can make it even simple to start off with. And then you could also have it to where maybe some things are even locked. And as you earn more dynasty points, now we're going to implement their dynasty points, then you can actually afford some new warm-up gear for your players. Let's take this into another feature that they've added in College Football 25, and that's of course stayed with us since then, the team builder. They expanded on that this year. Let's add an ability to customize your warm-up gear in the team builder. Imagine you can customize the tank top. You know, I would love that, but even if they just implemented it in a basic fashion, which says, you know what, if you choose your actual jersey color for the game day, let's say you choose, you know, white top for your team and black pants. So automatically your warm-up top is gonna be white and your warm-up bottoms, whether they're shorts or pants, whatever the case, is gonna be black. But then you can also add things like headphones or something, you know what I mean? Because again, they already have this foundation on Team Builder where you can customize your helmets for Team Builder. Then let's add a little customization of headphones. I can put little designs on there or school logos or whatever. Even if they don't unlock that with Team Builder, they could at least give us some basic headphone colors to choose from that automatically have the school's logo on it. I would be fine with that in the beginning of the implementation, right? So imagine going out there and let's say you want to be the quarterback and you go out there and you want to actually choose the drills that you want to do for the game. So let's say the quarterback has 3 drills you can choose from. It could be red zone drill, it could be something like, you know, deep pass drills, or it could be something like read defense drills. But your performance in these drills can dictate if maybe your quarterback starts cold and out of rhythm, and maybe his accuracy takes a hit at least on the first drive of the game. There's an accuracy depletion in your player ratings because you didn't perform that well in the 8 reps of warm-ups. Let's say you actually did perform well in your 8 reps of warm-ups. Maybe your player starts with a little bit of an accuracy boost to start the game for at least the first drive of the game, or maybe the first quarter of the game, depending on how well you performed. This is something that you can do with multiple different positions. So let's say the wide receiver, you want to come up and warm up as a wide receiver. Now, thanks to the new catching meter, which I love, by the way, I made a whole video about it. Go watch it and you'll understand why I love it so much. Now you can come out as a wide receiver and you could run some routes and then actually have to time the catching in the green. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's say that you're coming out in wide receiver drills for your warm-ups, and let's say even on the route running, to make sure you just don't run some random route, let's say you have to stay within a certain window. So if it's a post route, let's say there's like a little slim green outline that you have to stay within as you run your route. That way people can't just try to rig the drill up and run some little crazy route just to get to that point on the field. Let's say you have 8 attempts. If you green 5 of those catches, your wide receiver is going to start with a boost to his spectacular catch rating to start maybe the first 2 drives of the game or something like that, right? Let's say you only get 4 greens. Maybe you don't get an attribute boost to start the game. Maybe you just get like a composure boost, which would be very important on the road, right? Now your player is not as rattled, so it's easier to call a hot route to him, or he's less likely to drop some passes to start the game, right? Let's say you only get 3 greens out of 8 to start the drill. So now your player might take a hit. Maybe he takes a hit in composure, right? To start the game, he's a little bit rattled. To start the game, you try to do hot routes to him, and it's not working, at least for the first 2 drives. He can't hear you, or he runs the wrong route, or he gives that little shrug where he doesn't understand what he's supposed to be doing, right? Let's say if you only get 2 greens in this wide receiver drill to start, maybe then, since you only got 2 out of 8, maybe then you start to see a ratings depletion to start the game. So maybe he starts rattled and his spectacular catch rating drops from an 85 down to an 80, or an 85 down to a 75 just for the first 2 drives of the game, for example, right? Well, imagine you have a huge away game against Michigan and you walk out there to the big house and it's completely empty except for a few scattered fans, but you get to look around. You get to actually say, all right, I got a big game coming up, and you get to warm up with your little headphones on or whatnot, and actually get to do warm-ups that will affect maybe the first at least 2 drives of the game if your player starts hot or if he starts cold. So not only are you getting immersion, but you're getting immersion that can impact at least the start of the game, right? Because that's how it is in real life. If you have a good warm-up as an athlete, we've all been there for those who are athletes. If you have a good warm-up, sometimes you come out hot. If you have a bad warm-up, sometimes you come out worse than what you know you are until the first couple of shots if it's basketball, or maybe the first couple drives if it's football. So you can add that in a game like this, and of course the defensive side gets love too. You know, at least a couple drills for tackling, run stopping, and pass defense as well. But please, EA, make a toggle or a little switch that for a practice or a drill where you can say, all right, you can turn this full contact switch off and have them just do the little two-hand touch or the little touch grabs or whatnot that you see in real life when players are doing drills, right? It'll be cool to do this on home games, have the little crowd walkway where the crowd lines up on the sidewalk and the players walk through. You don't have to have it where it's like an open world RPG where I can go up and interact with every single crowd member. I'm not expecting that. But even something basic like going up, tap this button here if you want to sign an autograph. If this person wants to take a picture, tap it, or you can walk through. That will just help you get into feeling like you're actually in a universe of college football going on. I feel like now you go play a college football game, then you go back to a menu screen. There's not really anything that's connecting those that make you feel what it's like to actually arrive for a game day or what it's like to actually warm up for a big game. Those are the missing pieces to immersion that I think could take this game to the next level. And we just talked about how to possibly implement Team Builder, how to possibly implement things like the new catch meter and etc. into the warm-up. So that way the warm-up is actually something that is useful. I wouldn't mind also having like a free mode for the warm-up where you can just, let's say quarterback, you can go out there and just run some throws and some routes with your wide receivers without there being a time limit or being in a drill. During this free mode, there wouldn't be actually any ratings boost going on. You're just out there getting your timing down. And if you want to start one of the drills, you can go to the pause menu and start one of the drills. How would this work in Online Dynasty? In Online Dynasty, you can make it where it's a toggle. They can toggle to have the warm-up drills be mandatory, or they can turn them off. Mind you, the warm-up drills wouldn't have to be more than a minute to a minute and 30 seconds. Really, it's just 8 reps, right? So it's not like you'd have to wait 10 minutes while somebody's doing drills and you want to get into the game. It's not something that's going to take too long. But you could leave that up to the commissioner of the Online Dynasty if they want to have warm-up drills activated before games, or have that feature turned off to where you just go straight into the game. That's something that you could be able to control as the commissioner of the dynasty. The next part that we need to get into, imagine when you're warming up, if next to you, you have your position coach. That's the next thing I would love to see them add is position coaches. They've already added some new things this year that are coming in. We have an athletic director now. We have certain team staff now that's available. Where's my position coaches? Where's my defensive back coach? Where's my quarterback coach? My lineman coach, all that stuff. I would have wished that they went with position coaches before they went with team staff. In terms of, when I say team staff, I think they've added things like, you know, certain trainers and all that stuff. But imagine that you're warming up, doing your warm-up drill, you got your position coach next to you. Maybe the rating of your position coach could also influence the rewards or the punishments during your drill. So if you have a very good quarterback coach that you spent a lot of NIL money on, maybe that quarterback coach can give you a bigger reward that if you perform great, let's go back to that example. If 6 out of 8 of them were perfect, your quarterback coach, since he's such a high rated quarterback coach, can give you an extra boost. And maybe if you perform poorly, since you have a highly rated quarterback coach, the consequences of performing poorly aren't as drastic. Let's take that same example, and let's say you have a terrible quarterback coach. Let's say, I don't know, Ryan Leaf is your quarterback coach, okay? If you have a poor quarterback coach, that means the consequences for performing bad in that drill could be more severe. And maybe the rewards, you would have to perform a little bit better to even get the reward. So now, all of a sudden, we've added position coaches, which of course would give you benefits off the field, like during recruiting, right? But I'm talking about on the field for a second. That could help when it comes to the warm-ups. It could add something to that. So now your position coach isn't just something important during recruiting. Now your position coach can affect the rewards and the punishment of your actual warm-up drills, right? So now we're getting into immersion, right? Now we are connecting from being in the menu and that huge gap to being in the game, now we're actually feeling some things in the middle of that. Now you feel like you're existing in a college football universe that's persistent to your dynasty, right? But now what we've just done is that huge gap that exists right now between the menu screen and actually being on the field and playing. That huge gap has been empty for EA for a long time. Now we're finally filling that gap up with some immersive things that aren't just there for show, they're actually having an effect on gameplay as well. Now let's continue. Now let's get into one of the worst aspects of EA Sports games throughout its entire history, which is presentation. EA Sports. If a game like 2K5 that came out 20 plus years ago has NFL primetime highlight show weekly with actual real highlights, how on earth have you all not added college game day? And it doesn't even have to be for every single game. But where's the college game day highlight show? Where's the recap show where somebody's in a studio actually showing highlights and they have the stats going on? How on earth does a game like 2K5 from over 20 plus years ago have that? And the fans and the players, we've been demanding this for literally over 2 decades when we first saw it in NFL 2K5 and haven't even come close to getting even a glimpse of this. Adding this would be huge for, again, connecting that world in the dynasty, making you feel like your dynasty is alive, like it's persistent. It's that gap in between the menus and being on the actual field that needs improvement. Presentation has been lacking for a long time. Again, I'll reference College Hoops 2K8 had a selection Sunday. College Hoops 2K8 came out almost 20 years ago and they had a selection Sunday show. EA, I want to know from somebody, and this is my problem, none of these people who interview these EA guys, none of these content creators are actually putting pressure on them when it comes time to speak to them on camera at these events. Why aren't y'all saying, EA, where the hell is our presentation? We have much more powerful consoles now. The game is on PC now. What is your excuse for this? I don't understand this. It's not the hardware holding it back, obviously. It's not the money holding it back, obviously. I think the issue is that EA feels like they don't have to push the limits of anything because there's no competition to actually make them pay for being lazy. And that's unfortunate because this is all we're stuck with. This is the only, and don't even bring up Maximum Football, whatever that game's called. Don't even bring them up. I'm talking about AAA, companies with actual proper budget. They don't have to give us any more because they know we're gonna buy the game, because they know that they are everybody's only option. But I am interested to hear what you all have to say. What are some of your ideas that you think would finally push EA into that elite or classic sports category? So let me hear what you have to say and some of the features that you would love to see put into the game that can actually take it to the next level. I will be back soon for another video. See you then.